We're going to be going over the top 5 22 long rifle pistols to own. Yeah or no?
Tactical 22s, trainer pistols, whatever you want to call it. Because these are far from the top 5.
Plinking pistols?
No, I would say tactical.
Tactical?
Yeah.
Okay. What's going on, guys? Annie and Randy here for G4 Outdoors, and today we're going to be going over the top 5 tactical 22 long rifle pistols.
Well, here's a little story about two friends that came together, and we started up a YouTube just to talk about whatever. We're on a boat catching big bass and smashing them cats, from review videos to just making you laugh. Cause we got guns, we got knives, we got fishing, we got hunting, we got everything you like, so hit that subscribe button. We're in the outdoors, doing things that we love. We're talking guitars, girls, green grass, and guns.
On the table right now we have the FN 502, which is a great pistol. We love this pistol. We got the Glock 44. Kind of feels like a toy. Don't get me wrong, it feels like a toy. We got the Sig Sauer P322. Has its issues. Still a nice feeling gun in the hand, but it has its issues. Trust me, it has its issues. The Taurus TX22. Another gun that feels like a toy. Feels like a toy, guys, but it's a good shooter. It is a good shooter. And we have the Ruger SR22. Very compact. Definitely more compact than the others, but still feels like a gun.
I do want to preface this with an asterisk. These are, in our opinion, the best tactical training pistols, if you will, in 22 LR. We can go into the steel frame firearms that are going to demolish these. The Buckmarks, the Ruger Mark series of pistols. Those are really designed for more accuracy. Those are more designed for the range, and those are more designed for hunting. These right here are going to be trainers and plinkers. So just keep that in mind. At the end of this, we'll give our overall opinion, but we're going to run through a list of items and just tell you which one has the best features. Let's start off with round count. The Ruger SR22 just comes with this skinny little nice 10 round magazine. The Taurus TX22, we have two 16 round magazines, and these are the staggered stacked. These do have these little finger pull downs to load your 22s in there. They're not very, you can't really get to these knobs right here unless you dig your fingers down into there. The Sig Sauer P322 comes with two 20 round magazines. Again, these are the staggered stacked. And on this one here, we still have the finger pull down, but these are extruded just a little bit, so you can get your fingers on those really nice. The Glock. These Glocks are two 10 round magazines, a little lacking in that department, but these are chunky magazines. Are these the best built? I'm going to go with the FN and the Glock have the best magazines out of these. Let me think on that, and I'll tell you which one's better overall. But 10 round magazines, all of these other guns except for the Ruger, you know, we're holding 16 to 20 rounds. So I'm going to have to set the Glocks aside, although there is no problems with these magazines. The FN, we have a
10 to 15.
10 and 15 round magazine. These magazines are heavy, and they're well built. You can just feel how strong they are. It's not a cheap plastic. None of these are really cheap, but when it comes to the feel of them, the FN just has the better magazines in my opinion. Although the little push down lever here to load your bullets, you really got to put your finger in there, and I'm just crying about it today because I got a messed up finger, but I wish that it was a thumb knob instead of a finger knob. I guess if I was left-handed, I could do that, but I'm not coordinated. Like, I can't do a lot of things with my left hand. So overall, I think I'm going to have to give the FN the magazine. That's a tough call. That's a tough call. I mean, I might even have to go with the Sig Sauer as far as magazines.
I'm in between the Sig and the FN on that, but I think the FN pulls it out with the magazines. I think the Sig.
If these were 20s.
Yeah, if they were 20s, but I'm talking about the build quality and the feel. I mean, that's just. I'm going to go with the FN overall, but I think the Sig's not too far behind on that.
Now, I would confidently push the FNs out there if they were 20 rounds.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to talk about the fit and feel of the guns, the texture, the stippling, the ergonomics. We're going to go through all of these and kind of tell you what we think. Two different hands here.
Yeah, for sure, because there's you got some full-size weapons that I don't like to shoot, and
Yeah.
I've got some carry weapons that you don't like to shoot.
No.
So let's dig into these. Again, I want to preface something about the Ruger SR22. This is I think that it was built on purpose to be a training pistol for the Ruger SR9 or the Walther PPQ. I'm not really sure, but it's not scaled to size. It's actually scaled down a little bit. So we've got a little bitty gun here. Although it's little, it's got a really nice palm swell so that this thing can fit into your hands. It's nice overall.
It is.
But this isn't something for adults just to go out and be plinking with. I don't feel that the comfort is all there on that one.
No, but I do agree. The swell and what you can get the webbing of your hand into on this gun is amazing. It's a really, really nice feel to that. But it is small. It is a very small weapon. As far as the stippling goes, you have this rubber pad. I don't even know what you would call it. I don't even know if it's removable or not. It might be. But you also have a little bit of stippling on the front. But all in all, ergonomics is not bad on the SR22.
Now the Taurus TX22, so you can see, Taurus makes really ergonomical weapons, and it's no different on the TX22. We got a nice palm swell, little finger bump here, and a trigger guard cutout for your finger relief there. So we really fit in there really nicely. We have a full-size adult grip, if you will. The texturing on it is not obnoxious whatsoever. You could carry, if you wanted to carry this, you could carry this and have that portion rubbing up against your body, and you're really not going to be affected by that. It's enough to hold on to, but it's not enough to aggravate you, in my opinion. It feels, I don't know, it feels nice. And if Taurus made a gun like this, I would say that this feels really good, but I don't feel like the plastic is up to par.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I also think it has a nice palm swell on it. The texturing is there, I would say. I don't think it's going to feel really hot in the hand. But the more you grip it, the more you can really get into it. And the length of the gun without a magazine in it fits my fingers just fine. I can get my pinky on there without a rest, or I can get my pinky on there without an extended magazine or anything like that. So the TX22, it's not bad. It's not bad.
The Sig Sauer P322, we do have a lot more stippling and aggressive stippling than the Taurus TX22 and the Ruger. And Sig Sauer P322 has a really ergonomic grip as well. And even though I say Taurus makes a really good swell and ergonomic weapons, the Sig Sauer feels a lot more comfortable and natural than the Taurus. You don't have the bulk or the width of it. This one right here it doesn't have the excess width on it. So for me, the Sig Sauer P322 really fits nice in the hand. I guess there could be a little bit, like if this swell came out a little more directional this way, it'd be perfect fitting for me. And I really like the texturing of this. This one right here, if you would wear this without a holster, this would tear you up.
Rub you raw.
Yep. But as far as shooting this, it's super comfortable. And when I said that this just feels lacking, the Taurus TX22, I said it felt lacking in the plastic department. This one right here feels like it has more of a quality plastic to it.
Yeah, the overall on the gun itself, I do like the plastics on it. It does feel like a better quality plastic, like you're saying, for sure. But in the hand, for me, I think it's just a little skinny, on the skinny side. The TX22 fits me a little bit better, but the stippling makes up for it on the SIG. The SIG stippling is really good.
I will say one good thing about this Glock. 100% built by Glock. So the bottom here should be the exact same as any other Glock.
You get the little nipple bumps.
Little nipple bumps, and The only thing I'm going to say about it is it feels like a Glock, and I don't like Glocks. This is a big brick. There's a big brick in my hand.
But not the weight of a brick, so don't take that in the wrong way.
Yeah.
It'd be like one of those foam bricks that you could throw at your TV.
Yeah. So it just doesn't feel. Someone made Glocks for a certain person, and they said everybody's either going to like it or they're going to hate it. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. I'm going to throw a fit. I don't like Glocks at all.
Yeah, so you're going to get the Glock stippling, these little bumps, these little nubs on there, which to me is kind of, my hands get sweaty. They really don't grab that well compared to like a stippling does. The fit of the gun doesn't really fit my hand that well. It's a little big. The fit of the gun doesn't really fit my hand that well. It could be a little bit longer, I would say. You can see I get my pinky on there, but just barely, because it can slide right off. And these have flush magazines. But yeah, all in all, the Glock 44, it's not really my cup of tea either. It's a fun shooter. Don't get me wrong, it is fun to shoot.
Excellent shooter.
But I don't like the fit and finish on it.
Now the FN 502, this, in my opinion, has the best ergonomics on it. We'll go back to the SIG and the Taurus. And when I told you that the Taurus had a really wide swell, the FN kind of comes right in the middle between the Taurus and the Sig Sauer, giving you just a little bit of swell over the P322. So when I said that the ergonomics on this I liked better, it is a little bit thin, but when we drop down to the, not down, when we step over to the 502, it has what I said I wanted in the 322.
I feel like you get the best of both worlds. You get what the P322 has and stippling, also with the aggressiveness of the Glock, the bumps, and you have a little bit of stippling on the thumb rise. Yeah, it's like a mixture of both worlds.
We definitely got more stippling than the Glock with these diamond cut stippling right here. Front and back strap has some stippling on it, but your thumb pad and your finger pad right here, on a tabletop review, this was a pretty obnoxious stippling, but after firing this today out on the range,
you don't even notice it.
That stippling goes away, and you just notice that this gun just sits in your hand and it stays in your hand. As far as the plastic goes, again, along with the Glock, I'm not even going to go there. To me, the FN 502, the lower on this feels more substantial than all of these guns together. So in my opinion, the 502 has the better of the ergonomics in the handle.
And I agree with everything Randy just said. The way this gun fits my hand, it fits my hand very, very well. The stippling is done just the same. It's done very well. There's really not much else I can say about it. Just, you get the best of both worlds with the FN 502, and that's something I like a lot about it. All right, now real quickly, we're gonna go over the slides. I'm gonna start with the Taurus TX22. You do have slide serrations on the front and the back. And on the slide, you also have, windage and elevation for your sights. The action on it is pretty smooth. You get a little chunk spot in there, which, I mean, you're going to with most guns. It's pretty smooth. Doesn't feel like a real gun. I feel like I'm playing with a BB gun.
Yeah, there you go.
But the serrations are there. Yeah, the serrations are there, and that's about it. It just doesn't feel like a gun.
You can definitely tell that that's metal, and there's a really good spring in here. There's actually a really strong spring as far as bringing that back into battery. I like the texture of the slide serrations here. But if you can just hear inside of there, it's not this. It is smooth, but I just think that something's going on in here. Not a bad thing, but just noises. Just noises, and I really like that you said like a BB gun or an airsoft. That's what I'm feeling here, is just inexpensive build. It's a good gun, it's a good shooter, but it just kind of feels it's lacking something.
And it is an aluminum slide, if I didn't say so.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the Glock, which I think has the worst slide out of all of these guns. It's a polymer slide, which makes the gun super light and feel more like a toy than the TX22 does. You do have somewhat of serrations. They're kind of smooth. They're not real grippy. The action on it's really nice. It has a really good spring in it as well. That's something that it does have. It's plastic, and you do have adjustments for height and elevation for your sights, which is a good thing. It's polymer. This is a 100% polymer pistol besides the barrel.
Ooh, yeah. Every time I pick this gun up, I kind of giggle at it because it's so light.
Yeah.
This is, even though everything on here functions exactly like a normal Glock would, it's just 80% lighter, 70% maybe. I don't know the actual weight on this. And as far as a slide goes, I don't like how this is designed at all. It's smooth and it's firm, and it has a ton of getting back into battery pressure. Return spring, it's got a ton of that, okay? The slide serrations, they're there, but there's a couple other guns on this table that really beat it. As a matter of fact, the Taurus TX22 has better slide serrations than this. This part right here I don't like, and I understand that that's in and out of battery right there at that point, but it's just not as smooth as I think that it should be. The rest of it, it actually feels like a full-size Glock back in this portion of the movement. But once we get up here, just right on the battery portion, it just doesn't feel right.
Next up, we got the SR22. Yeah, like we said, it is the smallest gun that we have on the table. Decent slide serrations. It's very smooth in and out of battery, especially because I have to pull back the hammer. You can really feel the hammer on the pullback, but
yeah, if this hammer was, I don't want to put a magazine in there, but if this hammer was down,
yeah,
try and pull that back now, and it's
butter.
Yeah,
it's buttery smooth. It's buttery smooth. You got the serrations on the front and the back, and you have adjustments for windage and elevation also on the sights. The spring in this is a little bit lighter than the other one, than the Glock is for sure. But it does go in and out of battery really easily.
Yeah, the slide serrations on this one here, I'm still going to say these slide serrations are better than the Glock. And on par with the TX22, but definitely falling behind on the Sig Sauer and the FN. You're still able to grip it in a tactical manner. That's, I guess, watching YouTube for so long, that's something that I've gotten in a habit of doing. Instead of, yeah, I can't believe I used to do that. That's so uncomfortable. It's smooth. It's really, really smooth. And like you say, the reason why it's kind of hard is because without a magazine in here, the hammer automatically goes back down and it's in a safe position. So if I did pull this hammer back, this slide, that's an extremely smooth slide and a really good action. And that's where a lot of the reliability out of the Ruger SR22 comes in, is because this does have an amazing slide action on it. The return, I wouldn't say that it's strong, but it doesn't need to be strong, because this thing right here is really, I'm going to say it's, let me pull this hammer back. It's riding on glass. You really can't feel the spring inside crunching around like, definitely, you hear that. This has got a really good, the slide rides on the frame really smooth. Texturing is good, but not as good. What do you got on the SIG?
The SIG does have front and rear serrations. I think it's one of the top ones on the table as far as being able to get a grip on this. It does come with a back plate on it. I don't know if the windage is adjustable on the stock.
I'd have to get it out. I'm not sure either.
Yeah, but you do have front fiber optics. He did change this out and put a red dot sight on this, is why it's missing, because he sent it in for work, as you guys may know from previous videos.
And it's going back tomorrow.
And it's going to go back, because we're going to foul this gun up with some ammo today. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if it had windage and elevation or not. Can you guys hear that? You can definitely feel it going in and out of battery. It's super smooth though. The spring is definitely there. It has a lot of spring into it. All in all, it's really nice.
Yeah, as far as the, you know, I've done a little bit of testing before the video started, just so that I could remember what was what. As far as the slide serrations, this TX22 is starting to get rough too.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. But it's not comparable to this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got the same amount, but it looks to be, no, it's the same size. And now I don't know which one I like better, actually. I think that the Sig Sauer has sharper edges, giving it more traction. And as far as the spring and the feel on this, yeah, so the Sig Sauer P322, it's got excellent slide serrations on it. I haven't oiled this in 100 rounds or so, but it's still extremely smooth. Just a little noisy for some reason. The return spring is excellent. Brings it back into battery just nice. Just nice.
Nice.
But overall, this has a really good slide on it as well.
The FN502 has the most on slide serrations. You got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
So you're getting one more.
These are all 4. Well, Glock's 5, but
Front and rear. And to me, the action on the FN502 is buttery smooth. It's starting to get a little gritty because we just did a video on it and we shot it a lot. So I can kind of feel some of that residue in there. But the action on this gun is phenomenal. It's amazing almost. Super smooth. Does come with regular stock sights on it. This does have suppressor height sights on it and a red dot. But the action, it's phenomenal.
all these new tactical 22s that are coming out that are red dot capable or red dot ready, man, that just saves a lot of money in machining if you went that route. I don't know anybody that would actually machine one of these, but that's there for you. Ooh, that is very smooth. That really is smooth, especially in this area right here. It's really smooth. We're really digging into the spring back here. As far as this returning into battery, our initial review on this, you could see that this does have just a little bit of problem feeding bullets and getting back into battery. We'll stop somewhere around in there.
Yeah, or you really have to slingshot it.
So the preferred method on the FN is definitely to release the slide from the rear and not from the slide catch, although I like to prefer these as slide releases. Yeah, we've done that a couple times and the bullets did get hiccuped into there and we had to push that into battery. So a little bit weak on the spring. I guarantee you can put a heavier spring in here and this gun would be 100%. But as far as the serrations on this, we have pretty sharp edges, easy to grab onto. We have 5 over these. The Glock is the only other one that has 5, but the Glock is very smooth, not a lot to grab onto. This one here is comfortable. It's got sharp angles, so if you're going to sit here and do this all day long, you are going to get cut up. But it's very smooth, and my only complaint is it could use a heavier return spring on it.
But I feel with the heavier return spring, it may not function properly.
Could be.
That may be why it's such a weak spring in there, because you got a 22 long rifle pushing an aluminum slide with the optic on it. Probably needs a pretty light spring in it.
That's a good call. With the sight on there, I don't know if that would mess with the weight of this, but I think that you read or watched on YouTube that that's kind of a common problem with the FNs.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to get into the trigger pull on these. Randy's going to do the trigger pull on all these except for the SR22. Like we said, we can't function this because it does not have a magazine in it. And the magazine's loaded, so we're not going to deal with taking bullets out. But we do have the Wheeler gauge, and we're going to go through all these firearms and do a little bit of trigger pull test and show you guys what the poundage is on those.
I'm just going to run 2 tests on each firearm. Standard straight back pull. Running 412 on trigger pull number 1 on the Taurus TX22. What'd I say, 412?
412.
Because this really does have a mushy trigger on it. 4.2. 4.2. So we're going to be, maybe the first one was strong, but we're running 412, 4.2, and 4.3. Running over to the SIG. Trigger pull 1. I'm surprised by this. 310. 310 on trigger pull number 1, 315 on trigger pull number 2, and 313. So I'm going to put that up at the 312 and 313 pound range. The Glock blade safety back there, 515 and 512. This one's kind of a headache to get to, so we're going to say 515 and 512. It's a pretty heavy trigger. And now on the FN, that's beautiful. 211, the same. 3-2. I'm going to do that one more time. I saw it drop at 3.5, but it's reading 3.69. It's got a great trigger. Do you remember any of these numbers?
Yeah, it'd be between the Sig Sauer and the FN.
So the Glock was super heavy at 5, and we're running 4, 3, and 3.
Yeah.
Mid 3s.
Yeah, so when it comes to the trigger pull, obviously, if you want to have fun, you don't want a super mushy heavy trigger.
Let's run through the ergonomics of the triggers themselves. The Taurus has a lot of take up, and you run through quite a bit to get that sear off. But the reset is super short. It's got a good trigger, and this is a really good plinking trigger.
On the Sig P322, it comes with 2 different trigger blades you can use. It has the flat one, which I like a lot, and it comes with a curved one as well. But there's just a little bit of take up on the P322. Not a big mushy trigger. You're at the wall. The reset's kind of long and still kind of mushy too, which is kind of weird feeling, honestly.
But that has an aggressive spring to push that forward.
Yeah, you know it's when it resets for sure. But yeah, a little bit of mush. Trigger breaks easy. The P322's got a pretty nice trigger in it.
The Glock, there's not much. Hey, God, that's bit me for the 3rd time today, you rat bastard. The Glock, I really don't have much to say about this. If you fired a Glock, this is a Glock trigger, 100%. So
it's nasty.
If you want to know what it feels like, just go pull the trigger on any model of Glock, and that's what that feels like. Again, it's a Glock. I don't really like anything about it. I imagine that can be cleaned up just like a Glock. But what do you think about that FNs?
The FN, you have a very little bit of take up. Very, very small. You're pretty much at the wall instantly. Got a long reset on it, but that's because you're at the wall instantly when you're pulling the trigger. So to get back to that reset, you have a longer travel. But there's hardly any pickup in that. I don't know if you guys can really see. That's all it is. I'm at the wall. Long reset. I'm at the wall. At the wall. Phenomenal trigger. The FN502 has a phenomenal trigger in it.
And I honestly think out of all of these, when it comes to plinking with these and not paying attention to the triggers, it's going to be, if I didn't shoot any of these and just played around with them on the table,
yeah,
just out here shooting, the Taurus sucks. The Sig Sauer kind of has a long mushy pull. The Glock is a Glock. There's a little bit of mush in it.
Surprised you didn't.
And even when we fired rounds through this, would it come in at 3 pounds?
Like 312, 315, something like that.
If you're not careful, this gun is fun, and a lot of the accuracy comes from that light trigger. So there's kind of a common theme already starting that almost everything on this FN so far has outweighed any of the items that are on any of these others.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the tactical ability of these firearms. On the SR22, you do get a front Picatinny style rail to mount a light or a laser, whatever you want to mount to it. You do not have an option of an optic though.
As far as tactical ability goes, Andy just made that word up, and I think that we're going to put that into Webster's dictionary.
Tactability.
Tactical ability. Along with the tactical ability, I'd like to talk about carry options as well. I think that the SR22 is going to be I think that this would really be a perfect gun for a lady to carry in her purse, or even as a sidearm, carried concealed inside or outside. This is a small weapon. It does have the pick rail on the front, but no red dot options. The tactical ability of this, I don't think it's going to be very tactical, but I think that this is really going to suit the needs for someone that wants to carry and not carry all the weight and size.
Let's talk about the Taurus for a second. You don't have an optics cutout, so it does not have that. You do have a front pick, kind of a short one, but you know, you mount your flashlight or your laser, whatever you want to mount on it. As far as carryability, I do think this gun would carry well. The stippling isn't as aggressive as the Sig Sauer is, so it could be much more comfortable to carry on that term as well.
This gun right here, and as far as the tactical ability goes of it, we do have the pick rail on it. It's a comfortable gun to manipulate and be tactical about it. I'm going to take that word out of the dictionary.
Tactical.
It's a good tactical training gun. It's a good plinkster. It's good to go out and have fun with. But as far as being a tactical gun, I think we got better options.
On the SIG P322, you do have the front rail. This isn't proprietary to SIG, is it? This is a Picatinny rail.
Is the SIG's, someone is it? 365 is proprietary.
Okay.
So I don't know if the 322 is or not.
I don't think it is. It feels like a pick, just like the other ones do. You can mount your flashlight or laser, just like I was talking about before. It does have a slide cutout for your optics, so you can put many different optics on it, which is cool when it comes to tactical ability. As far as carrying the gun goes, you're going to want a complete holster. You're not going to want a half Kydex on this because this is super aggressive stippling and will rub you raw. As far as tactical ability goes, that's what I got.
Again, as far as being tactical, we do have the slide cutout for a red dot sight, a large pick rail on the front, and if this doesn't hold standard size Picatinny rail options, I'm sorry that I misinformed you, but I think that this is regular size. As far as a training weapon, this is 100% a good training weapon. The manipulations of the slide, safety, slide release, slide catch, everything on this is meant to resemble a full-size firearm, although it feels just a little bit small. But tactical, this gun is really good as far as training, good in the hands, good manipulation, and you learn a lot about a firearm out of a 22 stepping up into real caliber center fires.
When it comes to the Glock, you do have a front pick on here, single slot, so you can mount a flashlight or a laser like I'm talking about. It does not have a serration cutout for a optics, so you're kind of plain and Jane on that. I have had a flashlight mounted to this before, and it does make it feel more like a real gun for how light it is. So adding that extra heft to it gives it a little bit more comfortable feel to it, because this gun is very, 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 very light with the nastiest trigger that you'll ever. But as far as carryability, it's going to be comfortable. There's nothing wrong with this stippling. I don't feel like it would rub you raw. What do you think?
Yeah, as far as the tactical on this one here, a con for the no red dot sights. Depends on what you like to shoot though in all reality, whether it has a slide cutout or not. But I think that this is a direct comparison to the Glock 19. So this one right here is going to be more so than the Sig Sauer. This is going to be more tactical than the Sig Sauer, because this is a direct replica of a Glock 19, I believe. So
you're going to have those Glock options as well, triggers, all that stuff.
Yeah, so this one's going to perform just like a Glock. No excess of stuff. We just have a slide stop / slide release. So if you're a Glock person and you want to get a Glock 44 is going to be better than the Sig Sauer for trainability, because this is more sized to scale than the Sig Sauer.
On the FN502, you do have a front Picatinny rail, so you can mount a flashlight or a laser, and it does have optics cut out with suppressor height sights, which is something that makes a big difference. Like if you saw the video earlier, we were having a little bit of issues with the red dot, so we were able to use the suppressor height sights. On the SIG P322, do you have that option, or is it just...
No. Once you take your slide red dot adapter plate off, that is your sight. And these do not come with aftermarket red dot height sights to co-witness.
So all in all on this, you also have a front threaded barrel if you wanted to add a suppressor, which I don't think any of these other ones.
You're actually backwards. All of these but one. Glock.
All but the Glock?
Uh-huh.
All of them but the Glock have that feature. But with the suppressor height sights, I give this a notch up. So when it comes to tactical ability, I give it to the 502 for sure.
Yeah, with the 502, again, we have the red dot slide cutout, ambidextrous safety and slide catch release. The takedown is super easy. They're all easy to take down. Just filling this out, really. Something I really haven't paid attention to, but the mag release is super ergonomic on this. Should have went over that on the handle, but as far as the tactical portion of this and training, the FN 502 is more to size and feel. Well, it's not more to size than the Glock or the SIG, but as far as the feel goes, you're going to get more of a real life comparison out of the FN 502 than all of the others. You got your pick rail on the front. The safety is right where it should be. The trigger is comparable to any firearm with quality that you're going to be shooting. So overall in the tactical feel, I really think that the 502 is on top again.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, now it's time for the fun part. We're going to shoot some shots out of these. We're going to shoot some shots out of these.
Here, I'll load some mags up for you real quick.
We got mags loaded, ready to go. And we're going to talk about how fun these guns are to shoot and plink around with, because that's the most important part. Starting off with the Ruger SR22, we're going to do 10 shots apiece. Now the trigger on this, now that I can feel it, has I was going to say an enlarged. It has it has a lot of take up. A lot of take up. I can feel it. It's real mushy, a lot of take up. Yeah, I don't like that trigger at all. At all.
All right, 10 rounds with the SR22. And again, this is just how fun these are to shoot, how easy they are to shoot. Yeah, I should have done pulled a round off. You are right. That's really far back there. It shoots really smooth though, but it's a super small gun. And with the standard velocity ammo that's in here, it actually kind of feels like a Magnum mini mag or Stinger, if you will. Yeah, it's a fun gun. You're going to be able to hit your pop cans, but it's just a hair small. And going back into the training portion of it, it's just a little small.
All right, next off we're going to do the Glock 44. The Glock 44 has a very heavy trigger, so it's not as fun to shoot as the SR22 was, because you got that heavy trigger you're dealing with. But it is a very flat shooting gun, even though it is all polymer, slide and base, it still shoots pretty flat.
And again, Glock 44, 10 round magazines. And as far as the enjoyability of shooting these guns, the 16 and the 20 rounds are obviously going to be funner. You don't have to reload as often, but all right, that shot as it should. Felt like a firearm should go off. And when you're out here playing, plinking, you don't really pay attention to the trigger that much, so that it felt good and normal. If you're going to go out plinking, and I believe that we said this in our Glock 44 review, this really is a good shooting gun if you just don't pay attention to that trigger. As you can see, the muzzle rise is perfect. What isn't perfect though? That's a 22 problem right there. Let me show you why. That's not a light primer strike. That is definitely a 22 ammunition problem. I'll throw this back in there and fire that on another spot and show you exactly what I mean. Really good shooting gun though. Really good shooting gun. If you take all the cons of this being a Glock, all right, see, that was the same bullet that had the light primer strike, but it wasn't light primer. That was just a bad 22 ammunition.
All right, now I'm going to be running the SIG P322. It's got a very nice trigger on it. It's, what would it come in, 3.5 pounds?
Mid threes.
Mid threes on the pull. The length of pull on it is, you're at the wall pretty quick, so I do like that on it. And you get these long magazines.
That's definitely one thing that I noticed over here standing. I was waiting for you to run out of rounds. Yeah, 20 rounds is a lot of fun to play around with. First shot, fired it off just like a firearm. Again, if you don't pay attention to all of the bad qualities of any of these firearms, they shoot really good. And I don't have a rear sight on here, so just getting back on target is perfect with this gun. The trigger feels good, and again, really short take up and a really short pull, especially if you're not really paying attention to that. Getting back to reset, you can really feel that. Really nice shooting gun. Again, the 20 rounds comes in very handy. It's just a lot of fun to be able to sit out here and shoot more at one time rather than going back and reloading 10 round after 10 round.
All right, now we're going to be running the Taurus TX22. And these do come with 16 round magazines, so you're going to have a little bit more fun not reloading and being able to shoot a lot more and plink around. So that's a good.
I'd like to have looked at that round before it got shot off again. Hard telling if that was a light strike or a bad ammunition. So if it happens again, we'll see what it is. Okay, the initial trigger pull, even playing around, it's crunchy, it's long. Not the best plinkster, no. So as far as plinking goes and having fun, this is at the bottom of the list right now. As far as, don't get me wrong, it runs good and it will be a fun gun, but the trigger is very noticeable. Failure to feed. The trigger is my only complaint. Otherwise, it's a pretty fun gun.
All right, now we're going to run through the FN 502. Got 15 rounds in here. This, by hands down, is going to be the most fun gun to shoot. The trigger on this is amazing, like beyond amazing.
Did that sight come with it?
FN 502 for me is going to be my favorite gun to shoot.
Yeah, and actually, my dad's up here at the range, and I just handed him his gun and said, try this out. And I love it when people laugh when they pull the trigger and say, man, that's good. That's what he did. I don't think he made that face, though. I do have a tipped up bullet right now. I'm just pushing it back down into the magazine. All right, did you see how slow that fell? In the FN 502 review video that we did, we talked about how the slide could use a heavier spring in the back. It's just a little slow going forwards, and at times you will have a failure to go into battery. First shot, shoots like a gun.
Probably that gong.
Have you hit it yet?
This is a good one. I'll turn the dot on and see if I can't get it.
You know,
This one runs and cycles and feels like a gun, like a centerfire gun. When I say like a gun, I mean like real guns. Not that 22s aren't. I wish I could find a better adjective to come up with than a real gun. Manipulation, firing, trigger, recoil, again, without any complaints except for the return spring back here on the slide. This is a good gun to have fun with. Again, it goes back to the weight and ergonomics and the feel of whatever FN model this is meant to emulate as far as training goes. This is a very good shooter, flat shooter, and fun. Let's get back on the table, close this out.
All right, so when it comes down to the top 5, I'm gonna give you my 5, starting with my worst to my favorite that we have on the table. So I'm gonna start off with number 5 being the Glock 44. It just feels like a toy. I hate the trigger. I don't know if that's just a Glock thing, but it's not comfortable in the hand. It's just, it is what it is. So that's gonna be number 5 for me. Number 4 is gonna be the Ruger SR22. This is actually my wife's pistol. Yeah, I'm just not a fan. It's a little too small. If you wanna have fun at the range and you have big hands, it's just a little too small. Cutting down to the nitty gritty. Number 3 for me is going to be the Taurus TX22. It's not horrible by any means. It is a fun plinker. I didn't have any problem shooting it. It's comfortable in the hand. That's going to be my number 3 for me. Both of these have their good options. You can put a red dot on them. You can mount your laser, your flashlight. But number 2 for me is going to be the SIG P322. It's a little narrow and not as comfortable in the hand for me as the FN 502 is. So my number 1 gun is going to be the FN 502. As far as shootability, the way the trigger feels, the options you have for the firearm, hands down for me, the FN 502 is my favorite on the table.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. And what I see with your options here is I believe that we have ran with pricing as well, as far as the lowest up to the highest. There might be a little bit of...
I think the Taurus is going to be your cheapest one.
You are right. I'm sorry I even brought that up.
Cheapest in the middle.
Yeah, I think you get what you pay for then. I'm gonna look at this and see if I can't think of any other direction to look at these as. This can move around depending on what you want. If you want a trainer for your Glock, this could actually move up here into 3rd place, right in the middle. But it is a Glock, and I told you from the get-go, I do not like Glocks. I don't like anything about them, so it will stay down here. And then if you want to look at the options between plinking and carrying, you're not going to carry the TX22 as often as you will the SR22. But ergonomically, the TX22 is better than the SR22. But if you wanted to carry and have a good gun, I think that I would rather go with the SR22, even though it doesn't fit. This is a lot more concealable than any of these guns. It could actually almost, if not, be a pocket gun. Don't recommend that at all, but that option is still there. So I think that we're only going to move those around by 2 spots, 1 spot. Now the Sig Sauer P322, this is my personal 22. We do share them, but this is the one that stays at my house. And if you haven't watched any of the videos, the barrel on this is letting up really bad, and I have to send it back for the 4th time. Don't let that persuade you either way, because the functionality of this firearm is amazing. I like the way it shoots. I like the way it handles. As far as feeling like a real gun, again, sorry about real gun. If this came factory with a barrel that actually produced good quality shooting groups, this gun would be a lot more favorable in my mind. But I just have a bad taste about it because of that barrel. But it does belong in 2nd place. And as far as 1st place goes, it has to be the FN 502, and I have a lot of reasons for that. The texture of this is better than any of the texturing out here We have multiple sections of texturing, and each one of them are different. The slide on this feels better than all of these others. The options for accessories on here: red dot sight, pick rail, thread adapter for a silencer or muzzle brake, anything you want on there. The option for a slide catch, slide release, thumb safety, and then also we have a really good mag release on here. So overall, I'm actually going to have to go with the FN 502 as well. And to me, it's not about the price at all, that you get what you pay for. It just feels like a very well quality built firearm that's intended to give you the best practice for that full-size firearm that you're thinking about purchasing. So overall, I'm going to have to give it to the FN 502 as well.
All right, so there you guys have it. That is our top 5 for the tactical-ish plinking 22 long rifle pistols that are made by pistol manufacturers.
And that's right. Don't forget, this is only the polymer tactical side of pistols. Hopefully sometime this year we'll bring into the steel frame firearms like the Mark II, the Browning Buckmark, and guns like that. Well, hopefully this year we'll be able to bring those in, but as far as tactical, that's where this video's at.
So I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please hit the like button, share it if you want to, hit the subscribe button if you have not, leave a comment
free,
down
isn't it?
below. It is free. Leave a comment down below. Let us know if you would change this up in any way. Do you have different preferences than we may? But until next time, guys, we'll see you in the next one.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I just dream of fishing while I'm going through my workday. I listen to my boss, though he's driving me berserk. Damn it, I can't take much more because my brain is really hurting. And now the bank is always calling and I don't know what to do. And I haven't bought a crankbait since like 1992. But the bass are out there schooling.